Hello and good evening. You are back with the crew, and thank you so much for spending, what's going to be your let's see, Saturday morning with me. Wow, I wasn't I wasn't going to do this video because I hadn't had a lot of time to really research it, but it's so big and so powerful that I just said I'm going to make this and I'm just going to put it out for Saturday morning so people can enjoy their coffee and let their mind wander as to the incredible marketplace in which you and I have found ourselves in. Sorry, my throat is still a mess. It's this ocean air or something. I don't know what's going on. There's a little company called Hidden Road, and I have to say that I didn't know a lot about it. I kind of knew it under a different name a few years ago, but the founder has sold his portion to a little company called Ripple that maybe you've heard of. I don't know. And that company actually did not buy a partnership in it. They actually purchased the company outright. This enables them to do a massive amount of different things, but I don't think anybody's really explained to you the big picture of what I'm going to explain to you today. See, it's bigger than just the $3.4 trillion in which they traded last year. I'm going to say that's probably going to double this year. It probably even maybe triple. See, there's a little company that Hidden Road's involved with that many people, I don't know if they've done the homework and really looked into it. It's a little company that I know a couple of people that work there at a pretty high level, and I asked them about what was going on, and they didn't really know a lot about any specifics, but they said that essentially Hidden Road has an open checkbook. They have the ability to do 10 trillion or 15 trillion or 25 trillion dollars this year. And how is that even possible with such a small company like that? Which, by the way, they're not that small. I mean, they're in Hong Kong, Singapore, Caymans, London, New York. Am I missing it? I don't think they're in South Korea. They probably should be. That gives you a presence, right? Virtually all around the world. Overnight, Ripple now has the ability to do tens of trillions of dollars. Oh, I forgot to tell you how their book is wide open. That little company that I'm talking about with some employees is called Citadel. Citadel is one of the largest market makers in the world. Maybe you've read recently that Citadel's selling an awful lot of their real estate holdings recently. We're seeing a lot of billionaires and big corporations selling more and more of their assets. And I think it's because there's an opportunity coming. I don't think it's just because they're getting out of real estate, like Warren Buffett put everything into treasuries. And he's in cash, basically. And he's not waiting on crypto. Well, maybe he is to some degree. He's always late. So it would make sense that he might get in the next couple of years. I don't really care what Warren does. I don't follow his stuff at all. I do follow what Citadel does, because what Citadel does is the cutting edge of all trades. They are the market maker for a massive amount of the market. As you guys know, there's a company called ICE, Intercontinental Exchange. They do the majority of all of the liquid movement of anything of the Forex and inside and out of the Forex and all the markets above or below, including Wall Street. They have a massive market. Second to them only is Citadel, basically. If you don't understand how big that marriage is, okay, just think about this. You're a small company, or maybe your Ripple is a pretty good sized company now, and you're wanting to get into a market. Well, you can keep banging on the doors as they have for the last 10 years and saying, look, we're a real viable product. We want to do this. We want to work with you. We want to work with you people. we're really interested in getting involved in what you're doing, and we can show you a better way. And here, let us show this. Let us beta this behind your books. And we have this new thing that's just going to revolutionize everything that you do in your trading platform. Well, when you run across a company like Hidden, they already know crypto. They already know the tech world. That's really been their focus. They're one of the biggest people that are bringing that knowledge to companies like Citadel. And now Citadel's, I can tell you right now, virtually all in. Not all in, but they're liquidating billions, tens of billions of dollars, and I think they're going to go somewhere specific with this. Let's now talk about when Ripple needs a transaction. Oh, well, you're only good for 3 trillion. You only did 3 trillion last year in total market share for the whole year. Well, we want to do a $15 trillion deal or more. Well, that's when you need a company that's affiliated with Hidden, who is Citadel. It gives you that backstop. It gives you that instant liquidity. I know ODL, we don't really need it. What I'm saying is to bust in those traditional markets, to get a seat at the table, you have to keep knocking on these banks and these trading institutions to try and get in them and convince them to use your product. I know we're already in 300 banks. I already know we're in how many different nations. But these are the people that they can no longer, if you own Hidden, they can no longer say, well, you can't do those transactions because they're, I don't know, not legal. Green light. And now there's no limit because they're backed up by a company like Citadel. You're looking at that going, wow, there is no limit. There's now no limit to the size of trade or liquidity pool that they're going to need. How big a deal do you want to make? Let's make it. We'll make that happen. But I want to go even a next step above that, okay? We're talking about a big, giant leap above that. And I know how big that is. What I just explained is 2 and 3 times the size of $3 trillion market annual. Well, I'm talking about something even larger than that. Who's building an exchange in Texas? That's right, Citadel, in partnership with who? BlackRock. Who's BlackRock going to work with? How do I know that? Well, they haven't announced it yet. But why is everybody filed for an ETF for XRP except for BlackRock? Stop and think about, why does BlackRock and why does Citadel need their own exchange? And then you look over at Coinbase and you see what's going on with BlackRock and the distrust of the fact that they left Coinbase, because Coinbase happens to be in a state that's, well, let's just say, gosh, even Washington, D.C. is a better trading place. It's still beyond me how we won a case in the Southern Court District of New York. That's a miracle, guys. There's a bigger picture to that. There's a story, there's a book and a movie that can be written about that whole thing. Okay? I'm just telling you, you don't win in that courtroom. And they did. And there's something going on big there. I don't want to start any tinfoil hat stuff here. But what I'm trying to say is, Texas wants to have an open and free market. They want to make the massive exchange. They're going to make a massive exchange. They're going to do it with BlackRock and Citadel. They're going to do it outside of Wall Street. We don't need Wall Street. Wall Street's moved any of the trade big lots and the rest of it. You already know. They basically moved to New Jersey 20 years ago because of all what I just said. These people are pricing themselves out of the future of crypto through their red tape, bureaucracy, and ignorance and lack of foresight to see the future of mankind. This is really going to crush New York. You cannot imagine having a free exchange market in America the size of the one they're going to build in Texas, and then trying to compete against that when you have half of your arm tied behind your back by trying to operate out of, I don't know, Silicon Valley in California, or working out of New York City. It's such a brilliant move what Ripple did. They partner with a company that's building the largest exchange in the world, and people still don't even talk about it. I watch YouTube. Since I've been on the boat, I watch a bunch of YouTube at night because I watch TV. So I'm like, oh my, nobody even talks about this stuff. This is so big, and it's happening now. Not next year, not when we pass this law, not when new regulation comes. That's happening now, behind the scenes, everywhere. These are big players and big deals. You look at the president's son, you look at his whole panel, his whole council. These people are doing things now. They're building it today. And they're not trying to go through the 3 to 5 years of red tape and courtrooms and disasters of trying to get it done through some legal system in some state that is absolutely, their courts are corrupted. I'm sorry to explain that to people, but if you talk to anybody that's ever run a court case there, it's different law in that building. It's absurd. And and instead of trying to compete with that and have that thing take 3 to 5 years, people are just building a better world around it. That's where you and I have come in. You and I expect that from companies like Ripple. We expect that from people like Brad Garlinghouse. We expect him. I almost really messed that one up with Mr. Gensler. That wouldn't have been good. We're innovators. You and I purchase this stuff thinking of innovation, the future of progress. We demand it from the people who are building the new financial world. And brothers and sisters, you and I picked the right company to do that, and they're making all the right moves. As far as a company goes and running a coin and running a ledger, and there's nobody doing a better job of it. And I talked about that in my last video. I just really believe that people need to step back. If you only own Cardano or Solana, you need to really step back and listen to this video and ask yourself, what's going on with Ripple? They're buying $3 trillion marketplaces. Who's going to come in the door and say, well, no, you can't make that trade? They don't need some politician. They don't need a judge with a little wooden hammer and some stupid cape to tell them whether or not they can make a trade. They are the trade. They're going to make them happen. And then you're going to tell me, oh, well, see, Allan, you don't get it because it hasn't passed legislation or regulation yet. Remember, I just talked about the Caymans, right? London, Singapore, Hong Kong. That trade's legal somewhere on the planet. And it's crypto. It doesn't have a nationality attached to it. That trade will go through somewhere. They'll make it happen digitally somewhere on the planet. And it's no more about Washington or some parliament telling everybody in the world that they rule crypto. No. You build around it. You don't try and work with fools. You build around fools to a smarter and better life going forward. To try and get every idiot in the village to all think alike or get you on the same page for progress to occur is impossible. That's what drags societies down. You can't get everybody up to speed. You and I got all this stuff. We figured this stuff out a long time ago. We know where the ball's going. And you and I are going to prosper mightily. Somebody put in my chat the other day, it's just going to be so much fun getting stinking rich with all of you. And it's the truth. I'm sorry. They're not privy to the information. They don't study the stuff that you and I do. And that's a shame. And even if they did, you can lead that horse to water, and sometimes that horse won't drink. Like most of my family. It's a shame. It's tiresome, and I'm over it. Thankfully, I'm probably going to be okay, and I'm probably going to do well enough to where I can bring them along with me. As I know you will with your loved ones. Because that's the kind of person we are. We're not just get rich and be Ebenezer Scrooge about the whole thing. No, you and I are different kinds of people. How do I know that? Because I talk to all of you constantly. And you blow me away how you all sound and think for mankind first. And I love that about you. I love that about our family. And I'm about to start coughing, so I better cut this thing a whole short here. Hope you got something from that. I want you to wrap your mind around the big picture aspect of we're building this without your blessing, without your ignorance. You have been bought and sold by the central bankers, and they don't like crypto. They never have liked crypto. They certainly don't like the Bitcoin because it duplicates what they think is money. They don't like any of these coins. They don't like XRP because they've had us in court for the last 4.5 years. So clearly there's coins and programs they don't like. Well, you might want to buy those because we don't care about your old wigs and your wooden hammers any longer. We're going forward without you. We're building our own new exchanges, and we're going to make, I don't know, I'm going to call it probably close to $10 trillion going through Ripple. Because remember, they're not a partner. They bought it. It's big, guys. All right. Hopefully that wasn't too long. I hope you got something from it, and I hope you're enjoying your weekend. And I love you all very much, and I will be back. Oh, yeah, that's right. Boats off the ground. Don't know if you can tell, but yeah, we're up on the blocks. 20 feet in the air. Really seems strange when you're standing on a boat looking down on sidewalks. It's odd. It's odd. It's an odd thing. But, and you miss the rocking, believe it or not. Boat doesn't move. Not normal. Anyway, what is normal? Love you guys.